we're starting, guys, with this right here. As we talk about, Brendan Sorsby has kind of taken up headlines and the reaction to him. So right now there is a pending case. He was suspended from being eligible to play, ruled ineligible, appeals it. Now he's able to play for Texas Tech while this court case is going on, or while I guess they're appealing the suspension. It's wild. Jason, your school, Georgia, has said, you know what? We're not even gonna play Texas Tech.
And
That's
Nebraska.
right. And Nebraska.
The ADs at both schools are going, if they're on the schedule, take them off.
Take them
I
off.
deal with Texas Tech, not doing it. If this is how this is going to go down and they protect someone who's gambling,
Right.
I don't want my students out there and athletes having anything to do with that.
And so it's almost like a legal loophole that they are exploiting here. So Sorsby's attorneys are saying that it goes against the NCAA's own, I guess, constitution or bylaws, saying that a student can't be punished for something with their mental health. And they're saying he has a gambling addiction. So suspending him for his gambling addiction goes against your own policy, which is wild because you're not allowed to bet on sports. So
which
Right.
policy do you want to follow?
That's my thing.
We talked
To
about this
water
with
down
our
it.
chief legal analyst, Cully Frozen, who put it plainly. He said this is excellent lawyering, which it is,
Yeah.
right? Like that's why people are paid very well to find ways to protect clients, right?
Even if it's not always right.
Even if it's not always right, and that's just the way it is. So we're not here to opine about the legal system, but he placed thousands of bets, right? Which is very easy right now because depending on what state you live in, all you have to do is have one of these. He placed them. So while he was at Indiana, which again is already like a no-no in general.
Sure.
You're not allowed to bet at all on anything as a student athlete, but to bet on your own team or against your own team. And then he also did this while he was at Cincinnati, right?
believe so.
He went Indiana,
Now-
Cincinnati, because these
right.
are all these pictures we're seeing, and then he transferred to Texas Tech to the tune of $5 million.
Well, he was one of the hottest quarterbacks in the portal, so a lot of people wanted to get their hands on him.
They did, but so that was the argument from his legal team was that, hey, this is going to cause irreparable harm, which Khalif drives home every single
Right.
time when we talk about injunctions and making your argument, saying, hey, he's going to lose out on NIL deals. He's going to lose out on this eligibility that he has. He can never get this year of playing ball back, but not
Right.
only that, it'll impact his potential earnings in the NFL. But I asked him, which doesn't make sense to me, is how can you say all of that when you broke the law?
Well, because again, it goes back. It
It
goes
goes
back
back
to
to the mental health part, which I get, but there's also NCAA rules
But
that you can't gamble.
simply, I think what the tough thing to wrap our heads around is that the legal question, right, is just like, is there enough here to say we need to take a pause on it and review it? Because in the case that, say, Brendan Sorsby wins, then you get the irreparable harm. So I said, until we can determine exactly how we need to proceed, we have to let this kid play at risk of, if we make the wrong decision, him having irreparable harm. So I understand it from the legal frame. And again, as Khalif said, great lawyering because of this whole entire question of, can you punish somebody for their mental health if their mental health caused them to break the rules?
See, that's where, oh man, I know I'm just opening up a whole can here, but is the mental health, for me, I feel like the mental health, whether he has it or not, it's not for me to say.
Right.
Because I don't know. I'm not a forensic evaluator where I
Right.
can look at certain things like this and a mental health expert. But I feel like maybe the mental health of the addiction kicks in once you've been doing it for a while, and then you're not able to see yourself stop. Like,
Okay.
you know right and wrong, which you should, from the very get-go. The very first time you hit send, or pay, or whatever
whatever
the
you did.
initial thing was, I just find it harder to believe. Again, I don't know everything about this case.
Yeah.
But just where you say mental health was involved from the get-go. Maybe once this thing snowballed into something, you're like, oh, okay, now I'm addicted. I can't stop.
Sure.
So most addicts don't know they're addicts until they're months into whatever the addiction is.
I wonder if it was framed a different way, and we didn't get a chance to ask Khalif this on the show, but say it's a kid and he shows up to practice drunk.
Okay.
And he is drunk at several team functions, blacks out, maybe something happened, and so he has to be excused from the team. Well, the NCAA says this behavior is detrimental, suspension. But then his lawyers say, well, he is an alcoholic. That's addiction. Would it be the same idea where it's like you can't
No.
punish him for showing up drunk to events because he is an alcoholic? Because that's what we're arguing. Or if he was addicted to some other drug, right? Like, would you be able to suspend a kid for smoking marijuana and he fails his drug test, right? Which, the NCAA has rules against
you
against
can't
drugs.
do that. Like, you get
But
suspended.
they said, oh, no, he's an addict. Can't help it.
That goes with anything. I don't want to go like to where this is inappropriate and uncomfortable, but I'm just saying let's say
Right.
someone has an inappropriate relationship with a minor. You could say, oh, sorry, it's a mental health thing. He's a sexual addict. I mean, and I know I'm taking this way too far, but I'm just saying, if you start, that's my fear of, there is real mental illness out there. I'm not denying that.
You're right.
But if that becomes it's a mental health issue. When you start doing that, then it kind of waters down when a serious mental illness issue is out there, and then that becomes the excuse, or at least the defense, in a legal setting like this. And then everything, I don't know. I'm concerned of where
I think the legal argument is a good one. I mean, because they're both in there. I just have the problem with, in lots of articles and opinion articles, again, they're opinions, but of just the further degradation of the NCAA and kind of like losing its power over to govern itself, right? Like, I did college sports. The NCAA was like, you did not mess with it. It was ironclad. There was no room for any sort of deviation from that at all. And now I think with the age of NIL, and there are more judges getting involved, right? Who can say like, oh, this player, yeah, you can be eligible for a 7th year. That's fine. Oh, you can have money for this and do this, that, and the other. I think that's a concern for a lot of people online and for college athletic enthusiasts and purists who didn't want NIL. And at the beginning, I was against NIL. There are still some things that, at the start of the idea to pay players to go to school, right? In my mind, I got a full scholarship, right? That was me getting paid to go to school. I got my books paid for. I got my housing. I traveled. I got extra money. And like, I had all these experiences. And for me, that was enough. That was the reward, right? Is having all of this taken care of, and I get to go do the sport I love. Obviously, in today's day and age, with social media being what it is, should you be able to make money because you're blowing up on TikTok? Should you be able to get brand endorsements and have people like send you clothes? Sure, I'm fine with all of that. The thing that I'm kind of getting, or that has been a big issue for me, is all the schools now being able to pay players to come over to their universities, right? This guy got $5 million to come over to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
The biggest schools in the country. Granted, some will be saying they made it legal what other schools, SEC, have been doing for years and years and years, right? So now everyone's just doing it out in the open. This is a whole other thing, but I think it's just another age that we're in with college sports of what we're pushing right up to the line, and then we just kind of keep moving the line. So whether the addiction and mental health part, I do believe that is an actual thing.
Sure.
And he did admit to doing all these things. It's not like he really lied about it, but I still have a problem with him maybe even potentially getting to do it, because we have people like Johnny Manziel, who back in the day before NIL was a thing, he did a bunch of stuff and he like immediately written off.
He got to play.
You got to play?
He played. Yeah, he graduated. Yeah, he graduated and went to the league.
What happened?
He
got in trouble.
Well, a lot of stuff came out after the fact.
That's
about
probably
what he was doing at Texas
Exactly.
A&M, signing autographs, in selling his
Yeah.
merch. So a lot of stuff came after the fact.
Now it's just
The
all out
question-
in the open.
Right.
Right.
So I want to pose a question, because Annie, you played collegiately, a D1 gymnast at Iowa. Jason, you've raised daughters who have been college age where they're really impressionable. Do you think that there should be more forgiveness? And so taking Sorsby and his legal thing aside, if they had said, you know what, okay, here's a young man, he made a mistake. He's admitted to his mistake. Let's go with 4 games, 5 games. Or maybe there's a financial component to it as well, because he's making a lot of money. But at 18, 19, 21, I mean, we know the prefrontal cortex for guys isn't fully developed, right? Until mid-20s.
Until, yes, exactly. So Jason's not even there yet.
So these kids who are given so much money, right?
Mhm.
The gambling is prevalent. As Andy said, you can do it right from your phone. Do you think they're too harsh? And there needs to be a little bit more like, hey, you're a kid, you're making a mistake. We want to give you a second chance. What do you guys think?
I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine with a bunch of, there has to be repercussions. It can't just be like you're allowed to play.
And he's going to have a 2-game suspension.
He's going to have a 2-game suspension against nothing teams. Like you have to, I think you have to make it hurt a little bit more, right? To send a message.
Is that games or financially?
I think it could be both, depending on what you.
So how many games would you say?
I don't know.
4,
I feel like
5,
they would have
6?
to make like a rubric of some kind.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this, Annie. I think you find out what does the individual value the most.
Okay.
And you don't take the whole thing away, but like you said, maybe it's a financial
like it's a fine, like you would get in the NFL.
Two of the top games.
So maybe conference play.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because those ones matter more. Because we all know the beginning of the season, those teams are like literally paid to come in and have you beat up on them.
Yeah.
And they're not difficult. Sometimes there's
I mean, sometimes you get the early ones like, Texas,
right.
Ohio State when you kick things off, but like
we
the
digress.
nothing schools. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that hurts enough. I would say more games, more important games. So conference play would be fine to me. Maybe
so you don't think it should be a
year
suspension then?
I mean, you do make a good argument because kids are, I don't want to say like kids are kids because I don't want to dismiss all of it, but you make dumb decisions. I made so many dumb decisions in college, right? But I suffered the consequences within my team, and that, I didn't get like an NCAA punishment, but I was punished for what I did. And it was a lesson learned. So I think that there has to be a lesson learned, and you have to set a precedent or else people are just going to do it.
That's true.
And,
I would even be, if it was a year suspension, but give him a year of eligibility.
Right. You can't take one away. You have to give him another year
so
because
you can't play this year. So you're going to have to sit there, support your teammates.
Yeah.
And then you can come back next year and you have one more year of eligibility. So you can still have a chance to prove yourself and potentially have a pro career.
Yeah. I would see something like that.
There has to be the consequence. And then there also has to be the window of, let me see some change, rehabilitation.
You have to
whatever that looks like, physically.
Apply for reinstatement like the NFL.
Yeah, whatever that is. There needs to be that period of time. And then if you are proving yourself, if you're doing everything to stay within the guidelines, to try to better yourself, then come back out. You got next year.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We shall see.
But he's allowed to play until then.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.